Hi everyone, welcome to the live stream. We have Ajax, Ravish, and Luke. Luke, fresh back from Amsterdam. How was it?
Yeah, it's good, man. I mean, I can't say a lot about the result of the weekend, but it was good.
It was your
Good seeing
first
you guys
match,
as well.
right? Your first match in the arena you visited?
Yeah, for sure. First one. It was great.
It was great. All right, cool. You're a bit tired, right? It was a long trip.
I've just got back. I've probably about 30 minutes ago into my house. So no rest days, yeah? No rest days.
All right. Ravish, thank you for being
man.
here. Let me start with you. We're going to talk about Aston Villa in a bit. Before we do, we have to touch upon Hato, guys. He finally signed his contract. Maybe the best news this season so far. So just a quick thought from your end, Ravish. What do you think?
It
Happy?
took too long. Yeah, happy. It took too long for finalizing it, but great signing, and hopefully he will stay for a couple of years. I think he's still eight. He became 18, so hopefully maybe 1 or 2 years longer in Amsterdam, and then hopefully he will leave as a big man.
As a big man, do you feel like he can become much better than what he's been showing this season?
I think everybody can become better after this season, but if you
No, I
have
mean
some
personally, individually, because he was one of
Yeah,
the
yeah, for sure,
standouts
for sure,
this season.
for sure. Because he already showed so much rest in his way of playing and also in passing the ball. I think he can develop even more as an individual, and hopefully, with some more experienced player by his side, I think he will become just like Matthijs de Ligt had with Tadic, Blind, etc. If he could get some kind of players like that caliber, then yeah, Hato will be also one of the biggest defenders we have.
Luke, were you a bit worried because there were talks about contracts, and at the same time, we're hearing Arsenal, United, I don't know which other clubs, but everybody had basically Hato on their radar. Were you worried, or were you like, nah, I'm confident that we will sign him for a longer time, for longer tenure?
I was worried. I was worried because the Premier League pool is insane. You know, players are getting younger and younger in terms of who they play for and when they start, and how many games they can start and etc. And so, for him to if he were to go to Arsenal, it's arguable whether he would start a lot of games or not. But I feel like he obviously is quite smart or very smart to understand that he needs more development and to be at Ajax where he could be a focal player in the team, a leader, eventually potentially be captain one day. I was worried, but I'm really happy he managed to do it.
Yeah. Ajax.
Yeah.
Hato.
Yeah, man. Happy. You're a little bit cautious because we've been in this roller coaster many times. I thought Robbie was signing his contract initially also. And, we know what happened there. Luckily, we could get him back. But it's just over when he, signs with the signature. And now he's done that. So I'm happy about that. I think it's a great talent. I think it's one of the strongest players in our squad this season. Even though he had a little dip, but still, he's not one of the worst performers. For me, actually, one of the best performers this season. Also, from a leadership standpoint, because he leads by example. Especially at that age, it's very impressive. So I'm hoping to see him at least 2, maybe 3 more seasons in our kit, and then he can make a great transfer at the age of 20. I think that's still very young, and he will have a lot of experience under the belt then. So I think it's a sensible decision for both parties, and I'm happy the club was able to actually let him sign that contract because we've seen different outcomes in the past. So happy.
Yeah, also taking into account, he signed under the situation that this is maybe the worst seasons of Ajax we've ever seen or witnessed.
But let's be honest, maybe
Yeah.
Especially in this situation as a young defender,
Exactly.
this is something that you can learn a lot if the team is like this. If you're in a team that is steamrolling and it's just attacking a lot and everything is clicking, the midfield carries a lot of the load of the defense, not a lot of chances against you. You maybe do not have a lot of things that you learn. You learn to be stable in a good team. But in this situation that he's in, he's facing a lot of duels and a lot of situations that he's already handling quite well for his age. So for him to be one of those persons, and also, with a view on the future, that he's able to probably play a lot and be one of the, stronghold players for us, even at that age. I think it's a sensible decision because he will learn a lot in the current circumstances.
Yeah. I have a question, actually. We're talking about Hato, so I will try just to pull it up right now. You guys can react to that. Joey Leslie is saying very happy about the Hato signing, but it would have been better if he signed till 2029. Now you must sell him basically after 2 years if you want to receive a big fee or big money. What do you guys feel about that?
I think it's not possible to sign him until 2029, right? Yet,
I
or
don't-
is it
January could have been.
No, I don't
January
think
2029?
5 years.
legally. No, but legally, I think it's not legally. Maybe because he now turned 18, then you have a kind of how do you say that?
How do you say that? Tell me.
A, a limit that you have a
limit for. I don't think that's the case, but we're mid season, actually towards the end of the season. But you're in the middle of the season, so either way, if you would have signed him for 5 years or for the period that you sign him now, it's always a little bit in between. It's not whole seasons at the moment because it's not at the front or at the end of the season, or in between.
Yeah.
So yes.
Maybe next season you can reopen his contract and then extend it with 1 more year.
It's
that
possible.
could be possible.
It's possible.
Yeah, I think this is the logical next step, and now he needs to prove and develop himself further, and hopefully he will. Because if we get to be a more stable team with more characters around him that are also able to carry the load and carry the team, like for example our Turkish star now, then things will be looking up for him also because he has more help surrounding him instead of have to carry the team on his own at that position.
Yeah. I actually expect about our Turkish star, which you mentioned right now, that probably in the summer, if things continue to go well for him, that maybe we have to look at, extending his contract because believe it or not, he's been with the club for now 2 years.
Until when is his contract exactly? Do you know that? Will probably be something 27, 28 or something?
No, because we signed him 2 years ago. So, something like that. 2026, 2027. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's jump to Aston Villa. We will have the formation, the starting 11 in a few minutes. But before we go there, just pulling up BRN. He's seen the light. Robbie hat-trick, Luke. How are you feeling about the game?
It's hard. The weekend wasn't amazing. And my back was itchy, yeah. But so the game on Sunday, it's really strange because the inconsistencies this season always seem to be one game we look like we can build on something, and next game we're absolute dog, and then next game again we look to build something. So I don't know if it's like with us it's like a no expectation type of thing. Like if we go out and play Aston Villa, what's the expectations really that we could beat a Premier League team at the moment with our current team, right? So I feel like the players themselves go out there with let's give it all our all. You scrape out a 0-0 against Aston Villa at home, but then you get complacent when you play Fortuna at home. So I feel like there's a mentality shift when you're expected to win, they don't, and then vice versa, right? So it's a bit of me is a bit like, I don't know what the mentality would be like after the weekend, but also at the same time, I know this team can grind out a result like they did last Thursday. So I think if we can defend well and take our chances when we get them today, I think we can shock some people.
Cool. Ravish, you just looked up the contract of Kaplan. Thank you for that. So 2027, mid 2027. Thank you for that. Aston Villa, Ravish, how are you feeling about that?
No expectations at all. I was on Thursday in the arena and I told my friends we're gonna lose with 0-6. I just tried because if you look at the form and everybody was so hyped about Aston Villa and the fact that they have Ollie Watkins, but I was joking. I said every bad result could give us a good feeling if the results would be even not expected. So the 0-0 was expected. Was not expected. Sorry. But again, no expectations at all. Hopefully, we will play like we did on Thursday last week as a group, as a team, with a lot of energy. The players were fighting for each other. And of course, Brobbey and the second ball of Taylor, it was too far for me to see, but the ball of Brobbey should have been a goal. Don't understand yet why he didn't cross with the defender. Otherwise, you could get a penalty.
The thing, I agree with you, but the thing that we're seeing now from Robbie in this new system, I'm going a little bit more into depth now, is that previously when he played 4-3-3, he would make sprints of 10, 15 yards or something like that. Now with this system, he has to make sprints from the halfway line.
Yeah, of course. You're killing the guy in this system because
Exactly.
he's lonely, and he needs to do much more than he did before. So of course, I can understand that at the end that his energy level was too low to think more how to create how to finish the chance. But going back to your question, no expectations. Hopefully, a good game, and if we get a result, that would be I think a miracle, especially if you look at how we played against Berde. But yeah, let's hope for a good game. That's my first intention.
Ajax, I'm testing the waters a little bit with you guys before the game. Lucas a little bit on the fences, a little bit. Rafish has no expectations. What about you?
It's difficult, man. I was also worried that we would get a Napoli kind of beating last match against them. So that 0-0 and the way we handled ourselves surprised me a lot. But we're not stable yet, and I'm afraid that at their stadium, at their turf, it will be a totally different ballgame. So I don't know the formation yet, but it also worries me if Sutalo is one of the central defenders at the moment, because everything that we love in Kaplan at the moment and that we praise him for, Sutalo is actually lacking that. It's almost the opposite. So in my opinion, I would have rather maybe have like Wrench in the central defense, because he's there for this match, right? And maybe Guy or somebody else at the right back position.
Hold up. Sorry. You would seriously consider playing Guy on the right, keeping Wrench in the middle?
In this situation, in this formation, yes, because Guy has an engine on him. I'm not saying he's been terrific defensively, but Sutalo has been also not that great defensively, especially also in the build-up play. At least Guy has that engine on him and can go, wide and go far and runs a lot without getting fatigued. So that brings a little bit of energy that you have to have on those flanks. So I rather have a little liability on that side than in the center of your defense. So it's choosing between two, bad situations, but this is the worst of the two for me. So rather have that than maybe him in the central defense. Maybe people think I'm too hard.
I would like to know what people think of this, and also, of course, the viewers as well. But Luke, Ravish, do you guys agree with Ajax on this?
Sutalo he's I don't like him. He's performs so bad. He acts like he's on ice sometimes, the way he turns and things like that. And whether or not it's his fault, it could be a confidence thing. It could be he hasn't adapted properly. But I just feel like Wrench as a right centre back in a 3 suits better than Sutalo at the moment.
Yeah, we also still. Oh, that's the pizza guy there, right? Who you guys did order something
again? Come on, guys. We're not being promoted, by the way, just for our viewers.
It's Rafish, right?
Or anything like that.
Yeah, but I already, it's my aunt is calling. I will call back.
No, but you know what it is? You also have Medic, but he didn't play a lot. But he can help out maybe with the height, defending in certain standard situations. So we can also opt for maybe...
Hold on. Let me mute you a little bit. I'll mute you. All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
Maybe we can think about opting for him in the central defense, to help out with the height and stuff, and Wrench to the right back position. That's also an option. So yeah, we have to consider. What the hell is okay? We have to consider also those situations, and I just don't have a lot of faith in Sutalo. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah, Ravish, before you answer, let me go through the comments. A lot of people are reacting, and you can also jump in right away. One moment. Sahbi is saying, Ajax, listen, man, Guy can't perform in big matches. So
Sutalo can perform in any match, so,
Hey, don't make jokes of Sahbi, man. Seriously. He's contributing to the chat, all right? Be nice to him. Yeah. Progressive was saying, how about Medic in the defense next to Wrench?
Yeah, then that is what I opt for just now as a second option. So
yeah. Jim Beam Games is saying, Guy looked good versus Fortuna. His main issue is his confidence. At least that's how I see it. It's a good point. Yeah. Nickname is saying, stop resisting the Croatian chat and let Medic be our savior. The Vagabond is saying, I agree with Ajax. Okay, I cannot pronounce your name. I'm very sorry, but thank you for the comment.
Oh, it's Big Mikey. Big Mikey 95.
Big Mikey 95.
Big up Big Mikey 95, man.
Here we go. Big Mikey 95. Thank you, guys. As a Villa fan, I feel like Ajax could get at our defense with no Konsa because he's suspended as well.
In all honesty, against Fortuna, Guy came quite well as a substitute. He wasn't that bad. I also think, and I agree with Luke and Ajax said, that Soutalo as a build-up player, he's a total disaster. You should make him only defend his opponent and give the ball as soon as possible to the right guy. But also against Fortuna, defendingly, he wasn't that poor if you consider it in other matches. But you don't need to let him build up, because
that's the big problem, Rafish. If you play with him, you play with a liability in the back, not only defensively, but especially with the build-up. Because if you're a good coach, you just point out, leave Soutalo a little bit more with free space when you press high on the other players in the formation, and let him make the decision to build up. Then you will probably get some turnovers, with the ball. You can just go back to the attack.
We had the same thing we had with Bessie 2 years ago. That leave him open and he couldn't do anything. So I agree with you about that. But at the moment, I don't think Medic is a better option. I had some hope that Soutalo would fit better in a 5-4-1 with Kaplan again next to him, and also Hato. But still, I think it's a lack of confidence, and hopefully he will find it back somehow. But at the moment, he is not our best player.
I'm just hoping that he proves me wrong, but I just hope he has a solid game and just doesn't fuck up.
Yeah. But there's no balance though, right? So Hato on the left, he's able to in a 3, he's able to bring the ball up and play. On the right side, Soutalo just goes into nowhere. He doesn't know who to pass to. He doesn't know where to turn, right? So having Wrench, I know he's not going to be there because the lineup's there, but if he was on the right side of a 3, he's able to bring the ball out with the balance that Hato's able to. So 2 players that are able to bring the ball out and find passes. Soutalo just doesn't know what to do. A lot of the time I see him turn back round and then play it back to Ramai, and then get the ball again, and then move it back again, because he doesn't look confident to play the ball, because I don't think he can.
Look, we all saw the match against Fortuna. Weren't you annoyed by the way that Ramai is starting the build-up from behind every time so slowly? Then he passes over to Hato. Hato goes more to Sosa, or it goes to Soutalo, and it goes to the right side. He has great reflexes. He's a great keeper, but he's also king in bringing his own players in problem. By building up. Sometimes he just needs to kick the ball at front.
Everybody makes mistakes, and I think Ramai has had a few bad passes, especially during the season. But let's be honest, if it wasn't for Ramai, we wouldn't even been in this match anymore, man. He's the least of our problems.
No, but Ajax, what I meant is he's a great keeper, and I'm totally agreeing. Without Ramai, we wouldn't play tonight against Aston Villa. What he did in Beude was amazing. But what I meant was, sometimes he's so, when you see people are walking free or are asking for the pass, he's still waiting. Everybody gets in position. And nowadays, nobody is moving at Ajax. Nobody is coming to pick the ball, which we didn't have before. We had all those players that were always asking for the ball, go deep. And in this particular case, I think Ramai should also speed it up a little. Then you have some more surprisements instead.
Okay, but let me just ask you three questions very briefly about Soutalo.
Okay.
Yeah, briefly. I'm not talking about Soutalo, Ajax. I'm talking about the total build-up. It's not pointing at Soutalo, but it's more. I was annoyed by the fact that Ramai is taking his time, and then looks a lot of time, and then plays the ball. And if it doesn't matter if Soutalo is there, if Kaplan is there,
it does matter, because if you have Soutalo in front of you with low confidence, and he has problems building up the play, as a keeper, you try to avoid passing the ball to him.
Yeah, but every time he did that, he also played to him. That's what.
Of course, because sometimes you have to.
But then, you have to look at it from a tactical perspective as well. The reason why you play from the back is because you want to trigger the press from the other team. You want them to press, so then you could play the next pass.
Yeah,
so
true.
if they're not pressing, he's not just going to keep going
It's
along to
actually
Bobby
like this.
every
If you
time,
play
right?
with 5, you try to trap them in the press.
Yeah.
And if you can outplay them, they are outplayed, and you're surpassing them, and then you can start another attack. You're behind them.
I agree with you guys totally, but it was sometimes that you saw that they tried to attack, and the Romai was waiting, and then I think play the ball quicker, and then you have a surprising element, because every coach nowadays, the last couple of matches, that Ajax isn't the team that want to build up anymore, which we did in the past. That's so we're not surprising anymore. That's more my point. And Romai is also, because after his reflexes are great. Also against Fortuna, he kept the 3-1 out. Otherwise, we definitely would lose that game. So he has amazing moments, but in my opinion, I think his building up skills could be more quicker. That's the whole thing.
Looks like you want to say something, Juan.
No. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for you guys, because I'm also reading the comments, and because we're talking about this, people are reacting on this subject. So I want to talk about the comments and bring them up. And if you guys want to react, we can do that. So I don't forget people, and we don't start talking about something else, and then we forgot about what we talked about previously. So quickly, Julian is saying, I agree, Guy is probably the better option, but with everything that happened with him, I doubt Van Schip will play him. Now, we know the lineup is out. People are seeing that as well. Thank you for that, FC Lawrence, and also Murder Inc. Basically the same lineup. Also, thank you, Papimento, on the background for putting the lineup up. I really appreciate it. So basically, Wrench is going as a right back, as far as we can see right now, and Sutalo is playing. Kans, Ravish ordered a pizza from Juan. You got us. That's basically what happened. You're completely right about that. Let's see. Peter Collins, Villa fan. Looking forward to an exciting matchup. May the best team win up the Villa. Thank you, Peter. We also hope it will be a very nice game, and we hope we win, of course. But that's
May the best win.
So Sahbi is reacting, bro. I don't know who's the bro here. Probably Ajax.
He's reacting to me because I said he's not playing well in big matches, and I'm saying yes, Sutalo isn't playing well in any match, and then he's reacting.
Okay, so he's saying I have no trust in him. He lost his confidence. Sutalo is peep as well. Kaplan and Hato are there as well. Villa are strong on the wings, so Guy would be more a liability. That's what he's saying.
I disagree, and to be honest, if I'm just quickly touch upon Sutalo, if I have to judge him versus Medic at the moment on 3 things: confidence, the ability to play a pass, and also the defensively, probably Medic would have been a better option, and then Wrench on the side, even more. Then and as a second option, Guy and Wrench in the middle, and as a third and last option for me, it's Sutalo.
All right, clear opinion, very clear. I will never understand why people will say Guy as an option. Music is saying that. Let's see. We have Indrek is saying, is it a coincidence that when Sutalo came back, we could see the 2 goals again? Before that, 2, we had clean sheets. Yeah, exactly. Vincent is saying, I don't understand why on earth Sutalo isn't on the bench, because we paid 23 million. He's a weak player, no confidence on the ball, no build-up, no particularly strong defending. He's a liability. What the F? Tactically, I know, Luke, you always like to talk tactically a little bit as well, but don't you think Wrench for the team is much better in the center, also for the build-up play?
Yeah, I agree. Because he likes to find these passes between the lines, and you saw it more so when we played with 4, when he was with Hato. You'd find him trying to find these passes between the lines more. It's really important you have someone doing it. Yeah, and even more so if you've got a back 3 and 2 of the left and right centre backs are doing it, because it allows some balance, right? For me, he would be the player that I went for, to be honest.
Yeah, ECW is saying West and Ajax. That's the spirit. That's what we want to hear. All right, guys, I have a couple of questions that I also want to ask. Ravish, let me go with you. Yesterday was a press conference, of course, for the game, and Van Schip said a couple of things which I thought was interesting. I'm going to pick 2. The first thing that I thought was interesting was Vos. So they asked him about Vos being again with the squad, and he said, okay, the thing for Vos right now is he has competition on the 6th position. There are 4 he said, 4 people that can play there. He would be the 5th.
Correct.
So they're looking at maybe trying him out at a different position. He didn't exactly state which position, but everybody is saying like probably the fullback or the wingback position. How do you feel about that? Would he be maybe a surprise for us? A positive thing, maybe in the future, be on the right side?
It could be. There are a lot of players that transformed from their original position to become another player. Vos has the strength. I think Vos have also the speed to become a back. But I think his best position right now is on the midfield. It was quite surprising that Van Schip was open about that. He's saying the same for Fayzed. But I think, but they also mentioned him as a central defender. Right, central defender was named, I think, by a journalist.
I think it could be.
I think it was more the center of the defense as a right center defender. I think he could also play in that position because then he has the game in front of him. He has a good pass. He's strong physically. Yeah, I think he's one of the victims of the transfer period of Mislintat, because Vos is one of our own, and we always prefer one of our own players of our own youth academy. But maybe he can surprise us as in another position. Yeah.
He also had bad luck with injury, right? So
yeah. That's the thing.
I doubt it's maybe smart thing to do, because if I recall correctly, I do not have a lot of success stories when you change the players around. Maybe Herbie Emanuelson, I believe, was turned into a back, and also with Mazraoui, right? Those were not originally side players, and that turned out quite.
And if you go even more back to the history, Michael Reiziger was a winger, and Van Gaal made him actually a right back.
The thing that I'm worried about is
right?
the thing.
De Ligt was also a midfielder or something before he went.
No, but in the youth they play different positions, so we shouldn't really focus too much on that.
And the thing I'm worried about is the same with Marta. That's turned into the left back position. It's not their natural position, and you do it because you do not have enough space to give him the first 11 spot. But maybe it's better to just let them play their minutes when it's possible. Let them see how it evolves, because you can also end somebody's situation, or maybe give a dent to the career, if you play them as a back that isn't the national position, and then say, I'm not happy with the performance, the way what happened with Marta. So I think Vos is too great of a talent to sacrifice him to that back position. You can try it, but it's difficult also, because if you try it, it can go the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're not too convinced about it, basically.
I'm saying it is an option. It definitely is an option, but I think you have to be careful with trying to mold players into different positions all the time. Rather have them give some minutes, when it's possible, in their natural position, and maybe they can evolve into an even better player and be ready to be a starting 11 player, and if other players leave or get injured.
Yeah. Sahbi is again reacting. So every time you're saying something, he's reacting to you, Ajax. I don't know what's happening here, but Vos can do it 100%. He has the ability to build up technical, played in defense as well at young Ajax. He can be the inverted wingback, fullback. And he's agree. Nigel de Jong also was playing at different positions at the time.
Yeah, but I'm just pointing out side backs, because I can name a few others, but not only every position in the team that gets changed, only the side backs.
Yeah. Luke, you can take this one, the Fayzed comment. Maybe Vos as well. Go ahead.
I just want to flip the perception a little bit. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a view that I know when Skip is not going to be there beyond the end of the season, potentially. We don't actually know, but it might be a change of system, going back to a 4, playing inverted fullbacks like Sabi said, but not as starters. It might be as rotational players, or having this option of having multiple players that could do multiple things, like some of the bigger clubs in the world, your Arsenal's, your Man Cities, that are able to have multiple players filling everywhere. It might be something they're looking to as like an overall thing at the club. Cover yourselves in lots of positions, so we don't end up with a situation where we're like, okay, Hoya or Guy, no one really wants either of them because Wrench has to play centre back or Wrench is suspended or something like that. You cover yourselves. I think you could do it. I think if you Fitzjim and Voss, if they were to, really train and work hard and become an inverted fullback, should the system allow it, they can easily be some good rotational players. I don't see them starters because I don't think the talent's there for Fitzjim himself. Voss, I think, could. But it's as and when with the coach and the system and what you want from the team. These are the only questions you ask when you've got a coach who knows what he wants. I don't think we could just have a coach who doesn't know what he wants, or not even have a coach and start putting these players in these positions,
I can see some traits that are necessary for that back position in Voss. I understand if you think about that, but for me, Fitzjim is an option on the wing position because he's not strong enough to be in the defense with the way his physique is. It's not an option for me. He can build up well, but I see him more as a midfielder than as a defender.
Okay.
While Voss is stronger, does have that physique. So you have to have that against strong, fast, pacey wingers,
Yeah. Ravish, you can take this one. Jim Beam is saying Fitzjim I would play rather than Mansverk on the midfield. Do you agree?
No. I'm really surprised by the qualities of Manskerk. Against Utrecht, he played a great match. I saw that Henk Spaan had give points in Parool, and Henk Spaan is a journalist,
I know.
and he gave Manswerk a quite good rate, and I have the rate not in front of me, but he mentioned there was an action of Manswerk that he saw a touch of Iniesta in.
But hold on. But
was he high? Was he high?
Listen. Henk Spaan is.
No, I know which action he meant, but I think it's ridiculous. But I think Manskerk as a midfielder, he played real well.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's doing really well. I think the combination also with Henderson is playing out or functioning well. Do you guys feel like the game, right, which will start in an hour? Do you feel like it all comes down? I think Ajax, you mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. Even it has to come down to intensity, fighting, winning the duels. If we don't even come to that, apart from what you do with the ball,
it's nice that you touch upon it, Juan, because I mentioned that like 1 or 2 weeks before the Aston Villa game.
Yeah, true.
When we were on a stream.
Yeah, true.
And all the things that I mentioned during that stream, you saw in the match against Aston Villa at the home game. And you can see if you bring the intensity and you do the simple things right, that it's already difficult for a good opponent to just, breeze through and win against you. And you get your chances because that's what they did. They intensified the way they pressed. They did it as a unit. Everybody helped out. And this is something that is important. And also some more progressive passing I saw. It wasn't that much, but it was better than in the past. So they were more focused. Those things that is so important if you want to get a good result. And that's what I saw against that Aston Villa game.
Villa didn't have any chances. Also, only I think the final seconds with the tackle of Kaplan.
They had a half chance with Diaby in the beginning, I believe, in the first few minutes.
Also,
but he didn't do that quite well. But he had the option. Man, it looked much better, and I just hope we can do something similar today. But I expect a totally different approach by Villa today.
Also with the home.
Talking about intensity, I just want to ask you guys something which is related. Also, touching upon the press conference, that's the second point. It went about Brobbey and how he is physically and stuff, because we're hearing here and there that he's basically touching his maximum ability in terms of his physique. He has muscle ache sometimes. He has hamstrings issues, his knee before. But not that severe that it will take him out as an injury for a longer period. But Van het Schip did say that we have to be careful. We have to look at it from game to game, etc. Do you guys? I mean, it has come to the situation that we cannot perform without Brobbey because the next in line would be Akpom or Rijkhoff. That's a huge difference. How far would you guys go to play Brobbey and take the risk that maybe something would happen to him? Because it feels like he's actually, pushing his limits at the moment. How do you feel about that, Luke?
We can't afford to lose him, for sure. So we have to manage it, and you can't go from 0 to 100 in no time at all, right? So he made the progression to become fitter, to become stronger with his endurance. His legs, can handle a lot more. But now he's being asked to do so much more in a different system. So he's managed to get up to standard with the original system, and now he has to go and push even more. But on top of that, people are trying to get piggybacks off him. He's running while people are pulling his shirt. He's carrying the team hugely up top. He holds a lot of the burden, holding up the ball. He's making so many more runs. It's natural he's going to be doing a lot more and being more tired and having more strain on his body, right? Because he's still very young as well. There needs to be some management, and whether or not it was the right game to do so on Sunday to start Akpom instead of him is a step in the right direction in managing. I just think maybe Rykov should be the player to get opportunities as opposed to Akpom.
Yeah. And it's actually the fault of the staff also, because the way we played this season, we're overusing Robbie. And it's not only minutes played, but the way he has to play the whole season. First of all, he has to battle big defenders the whole match, because we're totally relying, especially that first half of the season, on his hold-up play. Yeah, so he's getting overused in that area. In a normal situation, like Luke said, in a normal formation, the way we used to play, he can be in the point of the attack, and hopefully he gets fed with a lot of assists and can finish it off. Nowadays, he not only has to wrestle big defenders the whole time, getting punched, getting strained during the match, but also in this new formation, on top of that, what he's been doing all season, he has to run much more. Yeah. Like sprints, go deep. So I think it's actually quite honorable the way he has been performing up until now. And I think he's very fit, because the way they overutilize him and everything we expect from him in the formations that we play this season, it's too much, man. It really is too much.
Yeah, no, I agree. Ravish, how do you feel about this topic?
Nothing to add. You shouldn't take that risk. If you saw it against Beude, after 30 minutes, they saw he couldn't continue. Then they directly substitute him. You should do that also tonight. If he's not able to continue, don't take the risk, because the competition is much more important right now. Conference League is nice, but don't. We saw with Akpom. I think as a substitute, a great player, but not as a starter. And I would, in my opinion, my thought was not to start with Brobbey and Linson, but Brobbey and Rykov, because then you can give Brobbey some more rest in sprints. Rykov is young, has also length and speed, so he can make those sprints, and then you give Brobbey some more use his other qualities. But physically, if he can't continue, substitute him right away.
Joey Leslie is asking, is it an option to put Rykov and hope to see a glimpse of Mika tonight? What do you guys think about that? Mika Gods.
It's definitely an option, Juan, but what worries me, I do believe that we have to give Rykov some minutes in front of Akpom, because you sign him, at least play him a little bit and give him a chance, Akpom's had many chances. He did quite well during the season, but hasn't scored a lot lately, But what worries me is we overlook what Linson brings to the table. I know he's kind of, invisible from time to time, but I took quite a notice to Taylor and Linson in the first game, the meters that they run and the ground that they had to cover on those sides, especially with the press. Especially when Villa switched to one of their side backs at side, they had to cover that ground the whole match. And I'm worried. I do not know if Rykov has that same engine on him, because you can say one thing about Linson, even if he runs his ass off the whole match, it looks like he's not fatigued at the end. Yeah. And you have to have
he'll still go give you everything.
Yeah, you have to have somebody that can cover that ground and has a big engine. And that's what, in this system, what I'm worried about a little bit if you do not play him.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, but I think you can play them together, and then Brobbey would be a kind of like a pinch hitter that he can keep the ball, and Rykov is the one that can make the sprints, and then you also ontlast him. How do you say that?
You would take the
pressure off him.
Exactly.
You would take the pressure off Brobbey, because everybody is focused on Brobbey and Rijkaard is
you release him of a certain workload, it gets lighter.
Exactly.
But if you play Rijkaard in this formation that the coach is now playing, who would you sub him for? Because if you sub off Linson, then he has to do those meters. Is that what you're opting for instead of Linson?
I would maybe substitute Taylor. I would
so you would play Rijkaard from the left.
No. Then you would bring Linson to the left, and then Rijkaard more as a deeper player.
Okay.
That would be my my
You
guess.
need more forward player. Deeper player is okay.
I was actually surprised that Rijkaard didn't came in against Fortuna, while Akpom didn't managed it quite well. And together with Brobbey, that would have been more surprising. But I agree with Ajax. You should give Rijkaard more minutes.
Yeah, the only thing is with subbing Taylor off. I'm a fan of playing players that are a little bit in certain form, and I can see improvements with Taylor the last couple of matches. I can see him playing better and being more of a asset to the team the last couple of matches. So subbing him off at this situation, coming back from a lot of critique that he received from our supporters, or at least a part of the supporters group, now performing better. Although it was a fluke, that last goal against Bodo, but I can see him improving in his form. So I think we should give him at least a chance to play. So
but maybe if you want to force something. Then you could try to bring him, but if you want to give players rest, then you could maybe play with Rijkaard and Brobbey. So that but yeah, I totally agree. Since the 5-4-1, Taylor is one of the players that adapted that system quite well. So it's difficult.
It is.
All right, guys, just this comment made me smile a little bit. MC is saying, I'll be back after the game to taste your delicious salty tears when the mighty Villa win. And basically, I want to react the same way Papimento just reacted. Only allowed if you also join the game talk if you lose. So, MC, you have been noted, flagged here. So,
if that
but
makes
whatever happens,
not only this, wasn't this the same guy that before the first game last week was saying that we would receive a beating also? So I'm just being hesitant to say we're going to beat you or whatever. I'm just going to watch the match and hope for the best. No big words from my side, but that's a lot to say up front of the match.
True. Tony is saying Taylor is the one who can score goals. Brian Shafiq is fingers crossed, guys. Absolutely. Nickname is saying, hold on. Yeah, here we go. Bro, we tasted so much defeat this season. Another loss wouldn't really make a difference. You got it twisted. This is like picking a fight with a homeless person. You got nothing to lose. That's true. Nice one.
True.
Nice one. Dinos is saying, hold on. All right. So I don't know what's happening. Sorry for that. So I was watching the Champions League yesterday, and the little guy on Porto's right wing yesterday, it was the day before that, I think.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. Looked a lot like the guy we let go. Very weird. Very odd indeed. He looked familiar. I agree. Luke, I want to ask you one question, and then we have to touch a little bit on Kroes. I also saw Yadorenko jumping on Kroes quickly. He will be officially appointed tomorrow. But before we go there, Luke, about Aston Villa, right? We were talking about our side of things. What do you expect from Aston Villa? Because they got a beating on Sunday from Spurs. An Aston Villa fan also said, we haven't been in great form recently. Do you expect them to hit the ground running from minute one, like press us, attacking, etc., or will they be a little bit more reserved and see how it goes? What do you expect?
From what I've seen of Emery over the years, I feel like he'll wait and see what happens. He'll want to see how we approach the game, and then he'll act. So, I think they'll get the ball early on. They might do a little press, or they might force a mistake, but then they'll just keep the ball, and there'll be no need for them to press. They'll keep the ball until they figure out what we're going to do, and then they'll try and play from there. That's what Emery's done the whole of his career. Well, the whole of time I've seen him in his career, and I don't see why he would change now. But obviously, they know that how we defend in the 5, like we did in the first game. So I'm sure they've got something different up their sleeve.
Yeah.
In the Premier League, you can use 4-0 and, you know, you can win the next game, then 4-0 as well. Brighton do it almost every week, you know. So it's one of those things, you know, anything can happen in Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. All right,
Did-
guys. Yeah, go
Didn't he
quickly.
play with 5 against Tottenham? He also changed his system, right? I read something I read something in the analysis of Peter Swart that he played 5.
I'm not sure.
Could be. I didn't watch the game, to be honest.
No, me neither.
yeah.
But I read something about it.
Yeah. All right. Alex Kroes, guys. Quickly on that. Just a few minutes before we jump back to the predictions for the match tonight. Alex Kroes will be officially appointed tomorrow. As I said, it has been long overdue, to be honest, thanks to AZ. All right, we'll not go there anymore. But he will be.
Shameless FC.
Yeah, I said let's not go there. But so Alex Kroes is coming. Finally, he will be the one that takes over from Van der Sar. Marijn Beukers, we already have him, director of football. The idea is that there will be somebody else also appointed in the near future that will be more responsible for the first team, managing the technical staff, young Ajax, and the transfers. Right? Marijn Beukers is more the youth academy, scouting, football analytics. Right? Did I say it correctly, Ravish? You're looking at me very seriously. Yeah? Correct?
Yeah, correct.
Good. My question to you guys is, what do you expect from Alex Kroes? I know his position is more mid-long term, but what do you expect from him to do, and maybe lessons learned from what we've been experiencing the last 2 years? Ravish, let me go with you first.
I think he should create some protocols, and the protocols needs to be used in every aspect of the company Ajax. If you have a negotiation with a certain player, we all heard the comments on Overmars that he didn't write anything down. So whenever he got sacked, that everybody didn't know what he was working with lists. So the protocols should be one of the things that he should introduce and work with. If you negotiate with a player, do that with 2 people. Make notes that if one of those people leaving the organization because by health or something, that you can always find what's happening. Also, the fact that Ajax had a lot of people that have commenting the way they are acting in certain cases, Nouri case, and also with Mark Overmars. So I think that Kroes should get some clarity about that. Also talk with everybody in the club that the club is an open club for everybody. If there are any issues, please spread them out and that we can work on them. And I think that also would be important that he can find also people and give them a traineeship that they can continue in the organization. Like Marijn Beukers has now appointed as the manager youth. Find somebody else, you train him, make him walk with Marijn Beukers to the organization. Then when Beukers says, I will leave Ajax, somebody else is already there to take over.
Ravish, we already have a program. Menno
Yeah.
Gele.
Yeah, but please give it more priority in the organization, that you don't that you ever come in a situation like we had with Overmars leaving the club, Hamstra and Huntelaar, and then we didn't have a technical manager. So he must bring clarity in and around the club, and hopefully he can bring back the successes that we are seeking for.
More professionalism. I'm summarizing. Yeah. More professionalism, open communication, and what was the last one you just said now? For the future, but not only on the pitch, but also for the organization.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
All right, good. Ajax, Alex Kroes.
Yeah, it's for me a little bit difficult to really judge because I do not know too much about him, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of following Asset, so have to wait and see a bit. But what I hope he brings is stability within the club. Building up from scratch, again, a board and filling in positions that are necessary within our club to be stable and work together as a team towards something, and not take on tasks as a general director that he thinks he can do, like our last one, but actually isn't too great at. So know what your strengths and weaknesses are. And for me, also, it's important that he really focuses on who will be our coach next season. That's one of the most important things, and that they are aligned with each other, that they know what they want for the future, and that they have the same view that they can carry out together as a team, together with other staff members that are necessary, of course. So for me, that's a very important task for him to do. And what I would hope also to see him doing is bring a little bit more structure in our system. So from the youth academy up to the first team, because in my opinion, and I do not know if he's solely responsible for that, or he has to appoint somebody that can do it, that task. But I want to see some structure within the youth academy, that we do not have the situation anymore when a player comes through the first team that we have contract problems. And that happened too much, that we, for me, jump on that train too late. And how do you say that? That in Dutch we say achter de feiten aanlopen. You know, we jump on the train too late, and every time we have to try to solve the problem when it's happening. And this is something that's need to be solved within the academy. There has to be some more structure, in my opinion.
I don't like talking about other clubs, but if you compare with PSV, they were able to keep Babadi after also turmoil. And we still, I don't know, I mean, the Missouri deal is off, right? It seems. We haven't heard anything from it. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
I understood that Kroes himself also said that Missouri and Idumbo, that both deals are off. If they don't want to extend. One thing to react on Ajax, I will quick. Is Kroes then the right person to talk about the system and the manager? I think that Kroes needs to appoint a good technical manager, like he also said, and that the technical manager should find the right trainer that they should align, right?
I agree a bit, but he has a say in it also. And I hope, because that's what I'm wondering, with Danny Blind and Van Gaal, that they have a certain vision that they want to instill within our club, something that Ajax is familiar for, and to bring back a certain structure. And I believe that together as a team, all those ingredients and the advice that he gets from those persons, that they can find somebody. If the technical director does it, or if he does it, doesn't matter. If they find somebody as a team that he is responsible for as the head, the general director, that will fit our club and our system and our team. And this is something that worried me last season, because all the managers after Ten Hag weren't the greatest fits. And it's easy to talk about it in hindsight, but I had some doubts in the beginning also.
Yeah, talking about managers, there are a lot of rumors coming up lately. So apparently Potter has been offered to his agent to Ajax. Also, Solskjaer has been offered to his agent to Ajax.
Please no.
Sorry?
Please no to Solskjaer.
Yeah, but there's also other rumor, mostly coming from the Telegraaf. I will call it a rumor for now, that apparently they want to go for the safe bet. They want to go for a Dutch coach. Even Ten Hag has been rumored, also from Footy Insider. What do you guys, I mean, let's say hypothetically, Ajax is thinking, listen, we've had so much turmoil, let's not take a risk with the foreign coach, let's go with a Dutch coach. Who would be your pick if it would be a Dutch coach?
If it's possible and he's free at the end of the season, give me Ten Hag. He knows the club, he's proven what he can do. And if people already mention also Frank de Boer, also together with, I've heard, Pepijn Leinders, that was something that was mentioned also. I rather take somebody that's firm and we know what we get with the Ten Hag than go for a situation like that. But that's my personal opinion. I like what he did at the club. And yes, he's stubborn. Yes, he has his flaws. But he has more quality than all the other coaches that we had when he left. And if you have to compare them, the coaches with Bos and, for example, I forgot his name, Slot from Feyenoord, I think Ten Hag is of the same stature or even better, what he proved. So this is somebody that you can compete with, because it's not only the players, you have to have a quality manager to get the most out of your team and have a vision to where you want to work, towards. And he has that. I think we lost Juan.
Yeah, I think.
Am I glitching? Was I glitching? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you were freezing. You were freezing.
All right, sorry for that. Technical issues. No pizza here.
Oh, and he's gone again.
And he's gone again.
But let me take over for a little bit, guys. So my favorite is Ten Hag for the moment. What about you, Luke?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's not many options around, to be honest. We don't want to mess around with coaches that wouldn't bring a lot. I see a lot of suggestions for Reisiger, and I'm like, it sounds logically okay. Like, he could have got the opportunity instead of instead of Heitinger, even, sorry. But, someone that knows the club, someone who knows how to deal with certain characters. I know it doesn't look great at United, but, if you're going to go for a Dutch club, you're going to go for someone like Ten Hag, aren't you, if he's going to be available at the season? Otherwise, there's not many options around, to be honest, which is why it doesn't really make any sense.
To be honest, it doesn't have to be a Dutch coach for me. It doesn't. If there isn't a great coach available that is Dutch, then I'd rather have a Graham Potter, for example, than go again for a Stein kind of character and people talk about Ron Jans I've heard in the past. No, man, please. We have to have a coach that's proven something, that has a tactical vision, and that can bring something to the club. If it's a Dutch coach, yes, please. But if the next best thing is English and it's way better than the other options that we have in as a Dutch coach, go for a foreign one. I'm not just saying Dutch only.
Ravish?
Yeah, I agree with Ajax. You shouldn't go for a coach that's because it's a Dutch coach. You should go for quality, but also somebody who's familiar with the style of Ajax and needs to know that the 4-3-3 is the holy grail for Ajax, and that you are open to work with in that system and also in that club, because we all know that if it will be a foreign coach, the Telegraaf will attack him right away.
Exactly.
He needs to be he knows that. But yeah, if you come from the Premier League, then you're also familiar with the English press. Pascal Janssen is named. I'm not sure.
I'm worried. I'm worried about that. I think they will go maybe for Janssen, because I saw him in the stands also last game against Villa, I believe, or was it against Fortuna Sittard?
No,
Villa. Villa.
Villa.
I don't know if that's the way to go, man. Janssen.
Janssen was called. I think Ten Hag won't be coming back. I think it's too soon for him. You also need to remember that he has a great legacy, and is he willing to force that coming back and don't get the results that we all aiming for? So no, I have no idea, man. Sorry.
All right. Clear. Let's jump back to Aston Villa. Luke, I asked you before about what you expect from Villa, and you said based on what you knew about Emery, he would be a bit conservative, so not go gung-ho, basically.
Just at the start. Just to figure us out.
Yeah, so Peter Collins is reacting to that. He named the starting lineup. He's saying it doesn't look to him as wait and see, if you ask me. Maybe you want to react to that?
I mean, I didn't know what the lineup was initially when I said that, so there's my defense there. But
I can go back.
But
yes.
But at the same time, just because you put out an attacking lineup doesn't mean that they'll attack. They could attack from minute one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Considering how we defended in the last game, maybe Emery's looking at thinking we're going to do the same thing. We're going to sit back in a block back five. They need to draw us out, so they might be slower to trigger us to come higher up, press, and then they can play quickly between us. So that was just what I was saying at the time. Where I didn't even know what the lineup was at the time. So
yeah, Soren is saying I showed a good attitude in Europe. It's difficult, but not impossible to get a good result. Let's hold on well for the first few minutes of the game, not like PSV. Yeah, PSV conceded the early goal yesterday. So
what a shame.
True. What a shame. Exactly. People reacting to Kansas saying, I trust Beuker, for the structure of the youth academy, etc. Tony O is saying Leinders maybe as a coach. Progressivo is saying we need a coach which knows about the right pressing. That's something you can find in Germany or England, much better than the Netherlands even.
I think maybe we should find a coach who can be a combination of being realistic and also with good football. And with realistic, I mean, if we are playing in Europe and we are up front with 1-0, that we can take the match over instead of seeking for the second goal and continue further in any competitions. In the in the Eredivisie, in my opinion, we need to play attractive football combined with winning. But if we are in Europe, we can also be a little more realistic, and instead of winning with 5-0 and a nice goal, win with 1-0 and not playing that well, but get the match get the match back to Amsterdam. If we can find a goal in combination like that, that would be also a good thing for Ajax.
But isn't the brand of Ajax to play their own style no matter where we are?
Of course, it is. But if you want to, if you want to win prizes, we saw too much so often games that we were playing quite well football but didn't get a prize.
Yeah, don't mention it. I already know where.
No, but you can counter that easily, because I understand the Spurs situation back then. What happened?
I said don't mention that.
I know, but let's be honest. If we didn't play our style, of football, if we weren't ballsy enough to play like that at Real Madrid, at Bernabeu, at Juventus, we probably wouldn't even have reached that semifinal. I know.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that again. But what I meant was, if against Spurs, you are in front of 2-0.
Yeah, I agree.
Play the match out. Madrid, Juventus, amazing. But if you're up front, you don't have to counter anymore. You don't have to seek the third goal. Keep the match.
Yeah, but that's I agree with you, but only occasionally. Like it doesn't sound like music to my ears that I hear. Let's just win everything 1-0 and just be sure you win the game. Let's just play our situation and recognize when it's necessary to fall back a little bit and defend a little bit more, but still stick to your point. That I do agree with.
Yeah, exactly my point.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Harold is saying, good luck today, guys. Please kick out Villa today. Kittel Knutsen just signed a new contract with Bodo Glimt. Yep, we're aware of that. I'm happy for you that you still have him as a coach, a very good coach.
Yeah.
We were able to witness him play against us, and honestly, you guys destroyed us, but we were the lucky ones this time. I'm not going to ask Luke how he feels about that, because he's looking a bit sad right now. But
luck can bring you a long way, and let's just hope it will be a good evening for us today. So,
let's hope so.
Let's see.
Let's hope so. So Christian is saying, looking at West Ham at the moment and see Kudus destroy the whole Freiburg squad, knowing we had him at the start of the season, has made me call my therapist for another session.
5-0. They are ahead 5-0.
Yeah.
How many times he scored?
I don't know. I'm not watching the game. Dinos is saying, a Liverpool fan, friend of mine, told me Leinders was the one to find a new role for Alexander-Arnold, betting his salary that it would work. So he knows his way around the whiteboard.
Yeah, if I can touch upon it briefly, Juan, it really worries me if names like Leinders pop up as a possibility for us to be the coach, because what did he prove as a head coach? Wasn't he briefly a head coach in the Netherlands for a while before he was an assistant, NAC or something? And a great assistant of somebody that can bring something to the table. The pizza's there again, Rafish. You're a hungry guy, man. Second pizza of the evening.
I need to drop.
All right,
man. Bye-bye. So, bringing something to the table as an assistant doesn't make you a great head coach, And I want somebody next season, if we decide to go for another coach, that is experienced and that can bring something to the table as a coach. Not a Leinders. And for me, a Janssen hasn't proved enough also already, He had a spell at AZ, but not that experience for me. I want somebody that has maturity and has a vision and can be ahead of that group, because it's necessary the next season. It really is.
True. We cannot. That's a good point, I feel like this has to be, we cannot afford any more wrong choices. It has to be the good coach right now. We have to be very clear about that.
And not only that, when did we become a club that you can just try it out as a coach with not that much experience and just hope it goes well, We're freaking Ajax, although we are in the mud this season. Come on, man. It's not like an internship that you can just try it out and hope for the best. We need some experienced managers, man. Come on.
Yeah, with a track record. I agree. Guys, Ravish just dropped off. I want to ask the viewers and you guys prediction time before we head to the match. Luke, you can go first.
I think 3-1 Aston Villa.
Dude, what's wrong with you, man? It's an Ajax channel. Okay,
Listen.
all right. That's the
Okay,
feeling.
sorry. Okay,
Why do you feel it's going to be a difficult one for us?
because I just feel like home games when we're away and anyone that's away and it's against you, especially in England, the support of home fans really changes the result. I remember watching during the COVID year in the Premier League, there was no fans in the stadium. Teams were able to come up away and win because there was no fans. There was no one putting pressure on you on the ball. There was no one, booing you when you're on the ball or whistling or anything like that. There was no like pressure from the crowd, like as if you felt like you was at an away stadium. But with fans in the stadium, I criticize English atmosphere a lot of the time with the clubs. But in European nights, it's completely different, man. Completely different. I just feel like they're just going to be on. There's going to be so much support for Villa, considering they're in a position where they're, fighting for top four. That's not been the same for them like that for a long time. So, and they're in Europe. So I feel like it's just going to be a lot of expectation for them. And I feel like it will just be too much for us eventually.
All right. I hope you're wrong, but
I hope I'm wrong too. I hope you win 7-0, but
Ajax, what about you? Are you a bit more positive?
No, man. I'm not going to do Luke because I hate going against my team, especially on stream.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping that we can, hold on that first 15 to 20 minutes and then get into the game. I got this weird feeling that it could be a extended match, extra time.
Mm-hmm.
And it can go either way then, man. But I think it will be hopefully more close than a lot of people expect. And I'm hoping for a 1-2 or maybe scrape a 0-1. Maybe penalties even and Ramai being the hero. But I understand the sentiment Luke is bringing to the table. And it makes sense because we're not in the position that we're the favorites. So let's just hope for a small margin victory, man.
Do you guys feel like the game last week changed a lot of how you feel about playing Aston Villa? Because before that, I remember when we talked, Luke, mostly, we were like, no chance, 0-4, etc.
Yeah, man, completely. And then seeing them lose at the weekend, maybe there is a chance. But
I just,
we don't know.
I just hope that Sutalo isn't the liability today, and that Watkins isn't smart enough to drift off a little bit more in his area to be matched up with him instead of Kaplan, and then take advantage of it, because that's what I would do if I was a Watkins. Let's just hope that we can bring our best and that we can scrape a win here, or maybe even penalties and win by that. But it's a difficult game, man, and all I can hope is that Spurs dented the confidence of Aston Villa so badly this weekend that they're a little bit in the mud themselves. So we cannot expect or predict what happened with the team after a battering like that. So just hope that they are not on their best and that we can match it and just scrape a win. That's what I hope for.
Very good. That's
you Juan. You're not ending this. No.
Yeah, you don't avoid these.
So you have to do prediction now, man. Come on.
1-1 penalties.
And who wins the penalty shootout?
We lose the penalties because when it comes to penalties, they have a penalty killer.
They have.
I have to be honest. He's shown it in recent World Cup as well. So so that's my feeling.
Let's just hope they won't, batter us tonight. That's what I don't want to see.
Yeah. I just want us to play with the same intensity we played last week. That's for me the most important thing. And hopefully nobody gets injured. Hopefully everybody does well, also including Sutalo. So everything what was touched today, good points, guys. Thank you so much, Luke, Ajax, viewers. I'll be back later with the game talk. I'll be back later with the game talk after the game. Let's hope it's a good one. Enjoy the game, guys. See you later. Bye.
Later.
Take it easy.